Hey you guys, it's Connor and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we would talk about my delivery and how incredibly easy it was for me, and I'm not really sure what else to compare it to because this is my first child. But when I shared the story with other mamas and with midwives and doctors, they all can agree that it was really easy. So here we are, and I really attest my vegan diet and my practice of yoga and just trying to stay fit throughout my entire pregnancy to the ease of my delivery. So let's just jump right into it. Originally, my birth plan was to have my husband present, to have my mom present, and she excused herself out of that plan. So it was just supposed to be my husband and I and a midwife present in a holistic birthing suite. The hospital that I wanted to give birth in had a holistic birthing suite, which included a pool which you could labor in. You couldn't give birth in the water, but you could labor. You could labor in a shower. They would have like one of those big exercise balls available to you. Massage therapy was available, aromatherapy. They could turn off the fluorescents and have candles lit available, and music. You could bring your own music, or they could have some music brought in for you. And all of this sounded so great and amazing, so I hopped in on all of that. For medical assistance, I wanted as minimal as possible in a hospital setting. I didn't want to have a home birth. I feel like a lot of people assumed I would have a home birth because of my personality and because of my lifestyle. We try to live pretty naturally, but I wasn't really confident in myself to have a home birth, I would say. I don't think actually it was a confidence issue. It was more of a space issue. Our apartment is pretty small, and I know you don't need a lot of space to birth a baby, but I just feel like we just didn't have the environment to give birth in. So to a hospital we went. And what else was there? Okay, so I didn't want to be hooked up to an IV. I didn't want all of these monitors and things to be hooked up. One, I hate hospitals. My dad, who passed away last year, was in and out of the hospital all the time, and I just, like, for years. So I've just grown this bit of disdain for hospitals. So I wanted to be in there as little as possible. I wanted as little help from the hospital as possible. Yet still, there was a slight sense of security being there in case something did go wrong, and we didn't have to like be packed up and rushed to a place to be helped. We are already in the place to be helped. So that's why we went there. Okay, so reflecting back on the story, I probably started labor the night before. So I gave birth on December 31st. So December 30th is probably when everything started. But I didn't realize it was labor. Now everyone says that you know labor when you feel it, and I have a pretty high tolerance for pain. So looking back, it was the labor, but what I thought it was just indigestion, honestly. And I've had some really bad indigestion in my life, so that's why I thought that's what it was. I thought I just ate something bad. I was just gonna wait it out. So I laid in bed and didn't sleep. I was at my mom's house, and I just didn't sleep at all that whole night, and I didn't drink any water that whole night either. So that's me setting myself up for the delivery the next day. So come morning, my mom was working from home, thank God, that day, and she's in another room, like in her home office working. So I'm still in her room, just dealing with a lot of pressure and with discomfort. A lot of pressure and a lot of discomfort Was it painful? I would say like on a scale of 1 to 10, it was about a 6. A 6 or 7, like tolerable pain, but you know it's there and you don't want it to be there. Like I can't function because it hurts, but I'm not dying to get to the hospital, kind of a thing. So doing that, still not drinking water because the thought of water just made me sick, and I felt like I was extremely nauseous. I tried to drink water at one point and I thought I was gonna throw up, so I just spit it back out. I didn't even swallow it. It got in my mouth and I'm like, well. And so I just spit it out. I'm like, never mind. And then I just start pooping. A blue streak, just diarrhea for hours. And at that point I'm like, I should probably rehydrate somehow, and I just didn't. I just didn't do it, and I don't know why. Not smart, I guess, but that's just how I felt. So that went on for a few hours. My contractions started to become 20 minutes apart, and I called my midwife and she said, okay, well, let's just stay home, you know, don't come into the hospital or anything, and we'll monitor it for about 2 hours, and after the 2 hours call me back and then we'll go from there. And I said okay. Around 9 my water broke and my contractions start to become 5 minutes apart. I call her back and I say, hey, my contractions are now 5 minutes apart. And she's like, really? And I said, yeah. She's like, okay, so I'm gonna go on and head to the hospital. So I tell my mom, and she's like rushing around to get me ready to go. And the midwife says, well, come to my office because that's really fast and we'll just see how far along you are. I said, okay. So we get in the car to go to the midwife's office, and I'm literally sitting there in the car. It just feels like I have the biggest poop ever. And I told my mom, if I can just go to the bathroom, I'll be fine. Go yet? Don't do that. I'm like, okay. Okay. So we get to my midwife's office, and the midwife's office is actually right behind the hospital. It's in a separate building, but it's on the same campus. So I get to the office. I'm literally like huffing and puffing trying to sign in. First of all, I could barely like catch my breath. I was so tired and dehydrated. I don't know. So I get into the midwife's office, and she's like, okay, you know, breathe, calm down. I'm mostly freaking out because I wanted my husband to be there, and I know how important it was for him to be there. And he's at work and he couldn't be there, and he didn't have the car. I had the car, so he couldn't drive to me, and I don't know how he's gonna get there. And I'm like, if he takes the bus, it'll take forever. And it was just a lot of emotions, you know, at the time. And she looked, and I was kind of hoping that I had time, especially for him to get there and for me to like get myself together mentally. And the midwife looks and says, oh, you're crowning. Oh, she's like, we're gonna have this baby right here. Great, fantastic. So they get everything together. So even if I wanted pain meds, which I didn't, if I did, I would not have time for it. I had no choice. I had no choice. There would not be time to put an order in to get it to the office because I would have had to be in the hospital. So did I get to labor in the holistic suite? Nope. Did I have all the minimal wishes that I wanted? Yes. Because for the most part, I had no choice. There was no candlelight because we were in my midwife's office. One thing that I'm not gonna say that I didn't like it. It was a little bit off-putting. I kind of don't mind because I get it. But what happened was, since, you know, not many people give birth in the doctor's office, it was a huge hoopla for the other like midwives in training and nurses to come in and to see what was happening. They were also excited, which was like really sweet. They were very encouraging and very nice, but there were like 7 people in there that I did not know, and they're cheering me on. "You're doing a great job, Connor. Oh my gosh, you're doing good. Push, go push." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks. Who are you? I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are." I mean, they were great, but I just didn't know who they were. And yeah, so at one point I just focused on my mom and my midwife, and I think they both could see that I was struggling with looking around and seeing who was in here and what everyone was telling me. Remember at the beginning of this story, excuse me, my mother didn't want to be at my birth. She was originally in my birth plan, and she excused herself out of that. Well, she was there. She was there. She drove me there. She came in with me, and she held my head, actually, and I stared at her face for the most part. I'm basically like this, laying like there, and she's coaching me through the whole process, and it was really special and really amazing to have my mom help me at such an important time in my life. She actually got to cut the umbilical cord, which was also super special. Yeah, and that was it, honestly. That was it. After I gave birth, they put us in an ambulance, took us to the holistic birthing suite, and that was all. So I almost did have her actually on my own because she came so fast. My water broke at 9 and she was basically born an hour later. They excitingly told me, the nurses, "The next time you have a baby, come right away. Come to the hospital right away." Okay. Honestly, if I'm to have another child, I feel like a home birth would be quite approachable. No assistance? Still no. I would still want a medical professional there. At least like a midwife, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, a home birth I feel like would be very approachable. But was it painful? Again, scale 1 to 10, I'd say about a 7. It was just a lot of pressure and a lot of discomfort. I wouldn't say it was pain. It just felt very uncomfortable. Like I can't remember pain. If it was pain, I don't know if it's like there was so much pain that my body blocked it out, or you know how you just, oh, what's the word? Not endurance. What is that word? Adrenaline. You get so much adrenaline that there's just no pain. Maybe that was it, because I was running on no sleep and no water, so my body was probably like, "Hey man, this is the worst type of situation to be in, but this is the worst kind of condition to be in for this situation, so let's just go, pump her with adrenaline, let's just go." Here's where the hashtag first world problems come in. Because I didn't have any water in my system because I was so dehydrated, my lip was basically black. Lips was basically black and severely chapped. Not like really black, they were like dark. I don't know why they were dark. My husband asked, was I eating Oreos? I don't know. No. No, I wasn't. They were just that way, and that's something I wish I could have been on top of. And my hair was a hot mess, but I was wearing a hat. This hat, mind you. 2, I wish I would have had like a headscarf, you know, or my hair differently, you know, And third, my outfit was a hot mess. I had like these satin pajama pants and like this crop cable knit sweater with like some kind of shirt underneath that. It was very mismatched because we just like got out of the house, because the outfit that I originally had on, my water had broken, which was actually a really cute outfit. I would have loved to give birth in that outfit, like. And it was wet now, so I had to change, and I just changed into something so we could leave. But we made it. Did I look like a hot mess? Yes. And I apologized to my babe, which was the fourth first world problem. Apologizing to your newborn baby that you gave birth to, that you looked a hot mess when you gave birth to them. How crazy is that? That's totally wild. Anyway, one of the biggest takeaways from it was how close I was to giving up in the midst of the birthing process. I was exhausted. That's when I literally found my whole body was exhausted, and I didn't want to push anymore. I just couldn't, and they're like, you have to, and I'm like, God, please help me, honestly, because I really felt like giving up. Like, I can't do this. And at that point, the baby just started wiggling their shoulders to come out, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, okay, so you don't have to push as hard now, just do one big one and that's fine. Instead of going with the contractions, they're like, forget the contractions, just give us one big one and you're good to go. I'm like, oh, thank God. So one big push and little babe was out, which was amazing. I think the biggest thing also, outside of like wanting to give up, trusting in myself, that I have the innate power within myself to complete something, especially something that is made for me to do. My body was made to do this. My body knows what to do. I don't have to worry about the circumstances that I put myself into, that it is for me. I am aligned with this purpose, so I can do this no matter if I'm dehydrated and exhausted. So the other biggest takeaway was patience. Patience for myself throughout this whole thing. There are many moments where I was freaking out in that hour and a half that it took from water breaking to delivery, where I discovered that I do have patience for myself. I have patience for others. I have patience for a baby. Yep. So, that being said, baby's here. It's been 2 months since I've given birth. Ooh. And it's been great, honestly. I've really actually fully enjoyed this journey. Am I still exhausted? More or less, depends on the week. But I'm learning a lot, having a lot of fun, and being mama is great. I love it. Yeah. So we're adjusting to being parents, I think, quite seamlessly. It's been a joy, a huge blessing, full of bliss at times. Will she be vegan? Yes. Yes. Because we are vegan and we feel like that is a proper diet for human beings in general, but for a growing human being as well. Okay, you guys. With that being said, you guys know what this channel is about. It's about reducing the ego, which is the individual, you and I, and about embracing the ego. So not just ourselves as individuals, but the planet and all of the beings that cohabitate with us on this planet. All right, you guys. Thanks for listening to my story. Comment down below any big thing that you took away from your birthing journey. Were you plant-based during your pregnancy? Are you plant-based afterwards? Were you plant-based before and then couldn't be during your pregnancy? Anything and everything about pregnancy and your birth story, put it down below. Feel free to do a video response and make sure to hashtag #ConReezyBeats, hashtag love and balance. I would love to hear your stories. And remember to like, subscribe, and share. Okay, guys. Love and balance.